So that's good. I was just testing it. We'll get started in a couple minutes.
Good evening. Welcome to the Beginner Parent Informational Night. We are so excited for you to be here. So what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be kind of talking about the band program, what it's all about. And then Mr. Michael King, he is the representative from the Music and Arts store, and he's going to be talking to you about getting an instrument through the store if that's how you get your instrument for the band program. So my name is Timothy Groth, and I am the Brewerton and Miller Hawk band teacher. I'm very excited. I'm always excited this time of year because this is like the start of it all. So this is really cool. And then my colleague here, she'll introduce herself. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Keel, and I'm the band teacher for Hastings and AA Cole. And we also have our department chair with us, Mr. Ron Haldeman. He's also always around to help out with any of our musical needs. All right, so we're going to start off first with a video. The video is kind of parents talking about their thoughts and challenges as they have a beginning student as well.
When Lauren came home and said she wanted to play saxophone, which is the instrument that I play, of course I was very excited.
We thought, well, this might be a phase, not sure. So we agreed with it and just waited for it to kind of go through. That was the end of 4th grade.
When he came home with the instruments and put the trombone together, we thought, oh my goodness, it's almost as big as him.
Well, when we got the trumpet for Braden and went and picked it out, when we came home, he was very excited, cleaned out the trumpet, even though he was not sure what he was doing, and then started to play it. And the sound that came out in the beginning was a little loud and a little concerning, but he still was enthusiastic about learning how to play the trumpet.
At the very beginning, the first sounds can be a little rough. Although I will say those are the best sounds because it's so exciting for the kids to make their first notes. I'm happy that Dylan plays an instrument, but beside that, I'm happy that she is with a group of kids that is dedicated and focused. Her peer group community is amazing. I couldn't be happier with her friends. Beyond the music that the students are making, the environment they're in establishes friendships and relationships that are very unique and very powerful and beautiful.
They are surrounded by good kids and great teachers and fun experiences. She's still little, she's only in the 4th grade, just starting out, but it gets better.
Now that he has been playing the instrument for 6 weeks, I cannot believe the improvement that he has made.
He's come a long way. He still has the passion. He's encouraged every day by his other friends that are in the band to continue to play.
What excites me the most as a teacher is to see the students' lights go on when they play together as a group and really sound good. When it locks in and everything is happening and we'll have a cutoff and everyone just goosebumps.
Since she started playing, her confidence level has really gone through the roof. I've seen a big difference in her just presence when playing an instrument. It's amazing.
Kids should do band because it feels so good. It's fun, you're part of a group, you belong to something, you work towards something, and in the end, you have something you're very, very proud of. I don't know anything about music, but I don't need to because her band director gives her everything she needs to know.
I myself don't have any experience with being in the band, so wasn't sure how it would be incorporated into Braden's homework. It's something additional added on to his other activities.
I am happy that she's so dedicated to it and that she enjoys it. It's not something that I have to ask her to do.
When a parent comes to me, and they often do, to ask why should their child do band, the answer is because it will change them. They will learn things and have experiences and grow in wonderful ways.
Any parents who are on the fence of having their child sign up for a band, I would definitely encourage it because you'll see the difference in their confidence level.
Just try it. Let your child try it, and them experiencing the instrument is worth everything. They'll love it, fall in love with it. It's just a unique experience that's unlike anything else, and they don't know if they love it unless they try it.
I love Braden a lot, and to see him be able to pick up the trumpet and play, it's just so encouraging, and it's a warm feeling as a parent.
When I see Dylan on stage, the first thing I think is that her father passed away, that he would be so proud of her.
I love my daughter so much that I want to provide this experience for her. It will take time and money and resources throughout the years, but it's an experience that I don't want her to grow up without.
I cannot imagine a place without music. We all have music within us, kids especially. They're walking around wanting an outlet, and that's what music is. It's an expression, and to not have that would be tragic.
All right. So now we're going to talk a little bit about our program and how this works in the Central Square School District. So there's two aspects of the music program. Lessons are a small group of people that play the same instrument. And lessons are what we start with in the very beginning of next school year. So they would be 30 minutes long, and they're always on a rotating basis, so that they would be coming to us at a different point in a day. Up here it talks about how it's scheduled on a certain day. So at the beginning of the year, you would find out that, say, your child has A-day lessons. So we're on a 6-day letter cycle, so every time it would be an A-day, that would mean your child would need to bring their instrument to school on that day. Anything you want to ask?
Nope.
Band itself, that's the large group. That's all the students, all the different instruments being combined together. Now, their first year of playing, we focus on that small lessons aspect so that they can figure out how to hold, how to play, and how to really create good sounds on their instrument first. Then in the second half of the year, usually towards the end of January, is when we would start to add that group band piece together. That would also be once every 6 days, and it's usually a specific 40-minute chunk of time where all the kids would come out of their classes. And again, it would be on a certain letter day. So say every B day would be group band day. So they'd bring their instruments then too. Usually Mr. Griff and I try to schedule lessons so that, say your child's playing a trombone, it's a big instrument, it's a big case. So usually we would have the lesson and the band day on that same day, so that they only have to bring their instrument that one day a week. If you're playing something smaller like flute or clarinet, you'd be more likely to have to bring it in 2 days a week, just because it's tiny and easy.
Yeah, we usually just start band in January, just because it's like a whole different set of skill sets to be able to play together. So yeah, the first few months is just learning how to play their instrument, learning how to hold them, make some sounds, learn how to read some notes. Then we're able to do them all together.
Okay, now this is a sample of one of my lesson schedules, so if you're at Hastings or AA Cole, for the most part they all pretty much look the same, but I would hand this to your child. So on the top it would say C-Day lessons, and every child would get a letter, so you'd be group M, group L, group O, and on the bottom here, we tell every child what group they're a part of. So basically, they would look at the day, they would look for their group letter, and then they'd go across to find out when their lesson time is. So that's just an example. You would get a new one just about every month that you can keep in your house, on your fridge, somewhere where it's easy to find.
Yeah, we do it this way so they're not missing the same stuff in their classes. And the teachers are pretty good about also helping to remind them. I know a lot of teachers will walk into their classrooms and they have all their lessons written up on the board, so which is very helpful.
It's good practice for telling time as well. All right, and then this is a sample of one of Mr. Groth's schedules. So again, it's basically the same thing. Yeah, he uses numbers, I use letters. I might change the numbers next year, just to be different.
I'm not changing the letters.
All right, so going along with the lesson days, remembering their instruments is one of the huge things because seeing the students once every 6 letter days usually means we see them about 3 times a month for a lesson. But if they're always forgetting their instrument, it's hard to progress. So one of the things that we really try to harp on is making sure that they have their instrument the day that they need it. So up here are just some tips. You will get a copy of the lesson schedule, so you can put that somewhere in your house where it's easy to see. You can write it on your calendar, put it in your phone. I've heard parents, they like to write the letter days on their lunch schedules that they get. Sometimes it helps to know what special you have. Say you have art, you only have art once every 6 letter days. So if you know band day is art day, that kind of helps the kids to remember. Knowing where to look. Every single classroom teacher has it in their classrooms. We have it outside of the music rooms. I know in my buildings, on my bulletin board, I have a little picture that says A-Day lessons are on, and then every week I'll change it and I'll put Wednesday, Tuesday, whatever day of the week it is. So if they walk by, they'll be able to see it there. So there's a lot of different ways that they can help themselves to learn how to figure out when they need to remember to bring their instruments. I also have a Remind app, so in the fall, if you wanted to sign up for that, I would text you once a week saying A-Day lessons are this day, B-Day lessons are this day, C-Day are this day. So it's just lots of different ways to help the kids get their instruments into the buildings.
Yeah, we usually just hand out like 1 paper copy to each student, but I mean, whatever's more comfortable for you. If you want to take it out of their folders and put it on the fridge, or they can keep it in, or if you want, you can have your child ask for 2, so they have 1 in their folders and 1 on the fridge.
Absolutely. All right, so that's kind of the lesson aspect. At the end of the year, so they figured out how to play their instrument, they figured out how to play in the group. As first-year players, they will have 1 concert at the very end of the year. It's usually at some point in May. And then second-year players, so typically when students are in 5th grade, they would be a part of 3 different concerts.
Practicing, yes. Yes, practicing is a real key to success in playing their instrument. So there's 2 slides. The first one is what practicing is. So practicing is obviously taking out their instrument. I know there's like a little phrase that says the hardest thing about practicing is just opening up the case. Once they open up the case, they're probably going to practice it. So writing in note names, buzzing or playing, so at the very beginning, we're going to be doing a lot of just mouthpiece work. For muscle memory, we'll talk a little bit more about that too. So that's a lot at the beginning. Practicing fingerings. This is definitely, especially for flute players. So with flute players, their fingers are over here, and they have some interesting combinations. So what we'd like to do is have the flute sitting on their shoulder, and we just kind of like practice, with using muscle memory, going back and forth between keys. And you can do that with the other instruments too. Clapping and counting rhythms, of course. Using a metronome to help keep a steady beat. In fact, I was just looking up some metronome apps. I was looking on the App Store. There's a bunch of really nice selections there. And playing in front of a mirror, we do a lot of that, especially at the beginning. I have like a mirror in both buildings where they're just looking at each other, looking at themselves as they're playing. And so I really encourage that they do that at home with Mirror at home too.
For those of you that don't know what a metronome is, it's basically a machine that beeps at a certain time to help people stay, like that. So that's what a metronome is, in case you didn't know.
So, importance of practicing. Okay, so practicing really helps build confidence in terms of giving them, so that they can really figure out what they're doing and be able to do it faster. Muscle memory and the brain and muscle coordination. I mean, that's a big thing with playing an instrument. Obviously, so you're reading and you're playing at the same time. So we want the students obviously to have fun. I mean, that's what it's all about. And success equals fun. So when they see themselves progressing on the instrument, they're like, yeah, I like this. So when they're practicing on a regular basis, and we're not like asking the students to be practicing 5 hours a day, done on their instruments. So, but when they just take their instrument out and review the things that we do in our lesson groups for 10-15 minutes for 4 or 5 days between lessons, it really helps with that muscle memory.
This is a question that we often get where parents really want to help, but they don't have a musical background, so they're kind of curious, what can you do? So the first thing is be supportive. At the beginning, you're going to hear some weird noises, some squeaks, things like that. It'll get better, I promise. So, let that happen. As the weeks go by, it gets better and better. It can be helpful to give them a space. If you were to get, say, like a music stand, that is just like their corner of a room, and that's where they practice. That can kind of be helpful too. You usually don't want a child sitting in your huge comfy sofa and they're playing all scrunched up and things like that. So if they have kind of their own area, that will help. It can help to have a routine. Students don't always like to practice. Sometimes it can take some encouragement to get that to happen. So if you say like every other day, practice 15 minutes before dinner. That can help just having that routine. So instead of it being something that you have to like convince them to do, it's just part of the day. Oh, and of course, if you have questions, if you think something's weird, email one of us. We're always here to help. All right, so the big question is, when do we start? Everyone will start usually around the 3rd week of September. Basically, we're kind of getting everybody settled, making sure people have instruments, making sure, students haven't moved, and we're trying to basically make sure we have everybody in band that wants to be in band. So that's usually why we start around that 3rd week of September. But we do have an opportunity for students to learn early. So if they want to learn over the summer, we are going to have a free lesson program starting in August. So here's some of that information. It's the last 2 weeks in August. It's Monday through Thursday. So it's a total of 8 days. It'll be at the Central Square Middle School. And these will be 45 minutes. Each lesson will be 45 minutes long. And this is where it gets interesting. So there's time, we have about 4-hour time slots basically. So the lesson could be at 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, or 11:30 if they were interested. Basically, we can't plan it until we know who's interested. So once you've signed up, you'll kind of say, these are the times that don't work for me. We'll take that information and divvy up how we create the lessons. If you would like to sign up, you can scan this QR code with your phones now. We do, if you're more of a fan of paper, we do have extra copies in the corner over here at the end of the meeting that you could get. That also has the information. On this QR code, it has another link if you want basically all the information on that other slide I just showed you. So if you do want a paper copy, we have a handful off to the side there. Just making sure everybody's got the code before I move on.
Yeah, we highly recommend this program. If you were around, I know this is vacation time, this summer vacation, and even if you're only able to do one of the 2 weeks, it makes a big difference. So we started this program last summer, And it did make quite a difference for the kids who were able to make it. It's like as if they had already been playing in school for about 2.5 months, because just because of the everyday 45 minutes. And remember, during the school year, we only see them once every 6 days. So a lot of the students who did the summer program were already where they would have been, like around Thanksgiving. So if you're able to do it, sign up.
All right, the question that most of you are here for: how do you get an instrument? So at this point, we are going to turn it over to our wonderful music and arts representative. All yours.
Hello everyone, my name is Michael King, and on behalf of Music and Arts, I am proud to serve as the educational representative for the Central Square School District. I'd like to thank Mr. Groth and Ms. Keel for allowing me to be here and just talk to you a little bit about our rental program and hopefully helping you guys get some instruments for your lessons in the fall. So first, a little bit about us, Music and Arts. Since 1952, we have been helping spread the passion and love for music with all the families who come into our store looking to start an instrument, take lessons, or whatever they're looking for. We start nearly 250,000 students each year, new beginner students with our rentals, across from our 200 plus stores nationwide and our other 200 plus educational representatives such as myself. We do everything we can to help make your rental experience as smooth and seamless as it can be. A little bit about our rental program. We do rent most instruments that you could ever play in school, such as the main ones that you would be starting with your beginner lessons. From left to right, we got the trombone, trumpet, flute, clarinet, saxophone, all the big instruments that you'll be playing. Yes, sorry.
If your child is playing baritone or French horn, you do not need to rent an instrument. They're very large and very expensive, so those two instruments the school provides everybody.
So through our rental, most of the smaller, obviously the smaller instruments, the bigger ones, they supply you, but we do offer rentals for all of these guys. Through our rental program, we do offer, at any time, you've got the rental, you can exchange your instrument out or you can return it at no cost, no penalty to you guys. We do have insurance coverage on the instrument as well as part of that rental that covers any repairs ever needed with the instrument, whether that be from regular wear and tear, from regular usage, to accidental damage, from maybe it gets bumped or hit or dinged. When I talk about our damage insurance, I like to think about something that happened my first year when I was working with Music and Arts. I was actually in the store. We had a family come in, mother and daughter. She was starting to play the flute. She was so excited. We got her the flute. They took it home, and she already started playing it right there. They had her first lesson that 1 week, and then she was home. She was practicing it. She was in the living room. She was playing, and then she put it down on the couch. She had to step out for a second, and unbeknownst to her, Dad accidentally walks in, sits on her flute, and so she comes in and sees this, and then he gets up, and we'll just say it didn't look like a flute anymore. It looked more like a boomerang. So they came in with their flutes. They had the damage waiver. All of that was covered. It was no cost to them to repair the instrument, and we actually just swapped it out with a new one. So she wasn't without an instrument for any time at all. She just got a new instrument, and it was completely covered by that insurance. Through our rental, all of those rental payments, you actually also build up credit that you can use towards the purchase of an instrument. So especially right now, they're just starting out. They're brand new. They don't know what instrument they like. Maybe at first they start playing the clarinet. Maybe they're not really enjoying that and they want to try something else. If you ever speak with your teacher, they might allow you to switch. You could exchange your instrument out, to a different one, and that's covered in the rental. No cost, no penalty to you guys. Let me think what else. And that's all about that right there. So cost of the rental itself. We have two different rental options to start out with the instrument. First, you can just do the regular monthly rental. You have the instrument, you pay monthly payments, come out automatically each month. until you do wish to return the instrument. That cost is $20 a month for the rental, plus $7 for the insurance. So after tax, it comes to just under $30. The other option we have is actually our 10-month school year lease program. So you pay it one time beginning in September. That's the only payment you make, and it covers you for the entire year. For most instruments, it's $150 for the rental itself, plus $25 for the insurance coverage. So for $175, one payment beginning of September covers you from then through the end of June, and that covers everything for you. Now I do want to just take a second to kind of walk with you through our website and how you can start a rental with us. If you want, it's really easy to follow through on your phone. If you want, you can practice. If so, you can try again when you are ready to do it. So, first thing you would do is go to ours website, www.musicarts.com. And you'll see up here in the top corner, there is a section entitled Rentals. Click on that and scroll down. First thing we're going to do is find your school. So, let's go here. Enter in the zip code and your child's grade level. And the schools show up. So I typed in Constantia's zip code, so you can see the first school that shows up here is AA Cole. Click on that, and then all the instruments that are available that you can rent show up here. So I'm a clarinet player myself, so I'm going to click on clarinet. Now, you have three options for when you want the instrument to be ready for you guys. First, ASAP. If you choose this, you get the instrument. We'll fill it for you within the next day or so. You'll get it right now. Second option, we've got our summer delivery. This is really great if you guys want to utilize that Jumpstart summer program that they're offering you. So you sign up for that rental today, tomorrow, whenever, and we fill it to be delivered right in time for the Jumpstart program. I'll actually bring it to the school for you guys that week before, so that way they've got everything, they can make sure everything's set up for you guys. And if you do choose this summer rental, this summer delivery, you actually get the summer for free. So your billing wouldn't start until the beginning of the school year, so the beginning of September. So those 2 weeks of that Jumpstart program are free with your rental. So your billing would start on September 2nd. Third option, fall delivery. If you're not going to do the Jumpstart program, choose the fall delivery, and we will bring the instrument to your school that second week of classes, second or third week, depending on when lessons start. That way your teachers got them, they're all set up, ready to go, ready for your first lesson. So I'm going to start with, we'll just go fall delivery, and as we see here, there's that 10-month trial. Click on that, and down here you can notice the liability damage waiver. That's our insurance coverage. That is automatically checked for you guys. If you leave it, it includes on. If you don't want it, just click off it. But it does go through some of the reasons why you do want to keep it, as like I was saying before. Covers everything for you guys from regular wear and tear to any type of damage. So if we leave that on there, and then we continue from here, and then all of the supplies that they recommend you have with the instrument as well come up on this next screen. So for the clarinet, you guys need reeds. They're optional. We've got the music stand here, there's the reed holder, and then the cleaning swab. These are all items that they like to see you have with the instruments, but similar thing, if there's any item that you don't want, just unclick it and it will remove it. But if you were to leave it all, just hit continue and it automatically adds this to your cart with your rental. And then you just enter the student's name. Will be my name. Can't type it. And then it adds all of this to your cart for you. Once again, it's just loading. There's some old stuff on here. All right, so you can see here, we've got that online rental, 10-month trial period, plus the insurance, and those supplies show up there. Then you just go to checkout. Seeing as if you guys are new customers, you will have to create an account. This allows you to also manage your rental. If you do rent through us, you can get a copy of your rental contract and any other information regarding to it. So you will need to create an account because this will allow you to get more information down the line if you ever have any questions for us. So let me mine in. And then now we head to the checkout. So once we get here, you have two options for where you want the instrument delivered. We have school delivery, we also have pickup at store. So I like to think the easiest one is school delivery. I bring it to the school for you personally. You don't even have to step foot out of your house to get it. It's brought right to your teachers, and then that way they can also make sure everything is right for it before your first lesson. Everything's good to go. So I really like to recommend school delivery rather than do store pickup. Unless you're really excited and you really want to get it, then you can do that. But I really like to recommend having school delivery. That way I bring it to here for you guys personally. So just right here, you do the store pickup, and then continue on entering your credit card for the billing, and then review and place your order. Through our accounts, they are set up to do automatic billing. So if you were doing monthly payments, it's set up for an Easy Pay auto draw. So whatever credit card you would use to pay for it today would be set up as a card that monthly payments would automatically draw from. So make sure if you are doing monthly, whatever card you choose on here is the one you want to have those payments come from. You can change it at any time if you want it to be a different card, but it's best if you start out with it. It makes it easier for you guys. It's already set, good to go. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And that's everything. Thank you so much. I thank you for having me here. I answered everything that I wanted to talk to you. Yes. Yep. One more thing. Thank you, Mr. Keel, for reminding me. Yes. So, in addition, say you already have an instrument, or maybe you don't want to rent, you have an instrument, one that you already had, that you're letting your child play, grandma and grandpa maybe already have. We do have this great tab here for school supplies. So this is a great option. If you've already got the instrument, you can just get the supplies to go for it. And in a similar sense, type in the school, choose your instrument, and the supplies will show up for it. The one exception that they like for percussionists, if they're looking to play snare drum, you don't need to rent a snare drum from them to play it. It's really nice to just have a drum practice pad. So if you come in here, you can see it's got the book, the practice pad, and the sticks, and all of that stuff you need. So you don't necessarily need to rent a snare drum if they're looking to play snare. You just need the practice pad for at-home use. So that is where you would go for that stuff. In a similar situation, most instruments are that price. Saxophones are a little bit more. That is the one exception for those prices that I did tell you guys. Instead of it being $20 a month, I believe it's $35 for that monthly. So it is a little bit more, but that's just because saxophones are a little bit more expensive of an instrument. So that one's the only exception to the prices that I told you, but everything else is the same. Is there anything else? Anything we need to cover? I think that's everything. Thank you so much for having me. I've got some more information down here. If you guys are looking to rent over purchasing, please feel free to come down after the end of the meeting, and I can help answer any other questions for you guys.
We're almost done. Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. King, for doing that for us. So that's how the rental program works. That is usually what most people go with. However, some people do choose to buy their instruments. We do like to put out a word of caution. If you go to Amazon and Google trumpet, usually the first thing that you find is not a quality instrument. If you see something where the price seems too good to be true, it usually is. Unfortunately, instruments that are usually under $100, they're usually made out of materials that are easier to break, or sometimes they're made in certain factories or in certain ways so that they don't play as well. And we'll find that, students, if somebody brings in a purple clarinet, they think it looks really cool, but it doesn't play as well, and it's harder for them to get the sounds out. And in our experience, they tend to quit more frequently just because it's harder to get the sounds out on instruments that aren't that quality. Anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, so just as a word of caution, if you see like an instrument that's just like, ooh, it's pink, I like pink, trust me, I've had many pink flutes, and the problem is they do get out of alignment very quickly. They bring it to the store, and it's just like it's constantly back and forth to the store. I know there was like a saxophone that a student had years ago, and he brought it back and forth to the store, and after a while the store just said, I can't fix it anymore because the metal is just too flimsy. But there are very good reputable brands out there. So if you find one, for instance, we can throw out some names like Yamaha, Holton, give me some other names.
Jupiter,
Jupiter,
Armstrong.
Selmer, Armstrong, Gemeinhart, Gemeinhart. But if you find one, find like a used one, okay? Let us know. Email us and say, hey, I found an Armstrong flute. What do you think? And we'll probably say, yeah. Just make sure it's in good playing condition. And if you have one, bring it to the school so that so we can look it over ourselves. In fact, just the other day, there was a trumpet. I saw a trumpet at Miller Hawk. So a student brought one in, and I forget what the brand was. I think it was a Holton, and it looked like it had a lot of use on the outside. But I cleaned it up a little bit and I oiled it. And I was like, wow, it plays great. So you might find some really some older instruments that are good brands, but they're made like tanks. They can take a lot of abuse. So.
Yeah, so again, if you find anything, feel free to email either one of us. We can let you know if it's good. You can even bring it in. We can play it for you, see if it works or not.
Oh, and if anybody had brought an instrument tonight that they want us to check out, and just come see us afterward.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, thank you guys all so much for coming in tonight. If anybody has questions for either of us or for Michael King with Music and Arts, you are more than welcome to come on up. We do have paper copies of the summer program information off to the side here if you'd like it. Thank you so much. We'll see you in a few months.